Jedi Fitness coming at you. I want to talk briefly today about nutrition and what you're putting in your body and how those things are more important than whatever exercise regimen you're doing. Granted, exercise is super important. I recommend it for everyone who's able. But if you're not fueling yourself with the right stuff, you're not going to see the type of progress that you're after. As a rule of thumb, I like to consume the majority of my calories as nutrient dense, meaning there's a lot of nutrients in them with not many calories, both micronutrients and macronutrients. So fruits and vegetables are the number one pick for me. Sorry, my dog's freaking out. Yeah, I think learning what's in your food is huge. I don't track calories now. I've been doing this for so long. I think anyone who's just starting can go ahead and track their calories for a week just to kind of get a general rule of thumb of what's in what. At the same time, I don't know if the science behind calories and how they establish what's in what is there. I don't know how much science is there if you really look into it. Just because something has listed that it's got 10 grams of protein and 200 calories in it, I don't know if that necessarily means that it does. I think using common sense is a superior method, meaning whole foods, not processed foods. As a rule of thumb, if it comes in a box, it's probably processed. It probably has a bunch of extra shit in it that you don't want to be consuming. And so, I recommend everyone learning how to cook, at least basic stuff. Cooking is an ancient practice, and it's been lost, especially in this society where we're so go, and not willing to take the time to cook our own foods. Or maybe we don't have the time, to cook our own foods. I'm not saying it's impossible to eat healthy while ordering takein or going out to eat. But if you're just starting out, I recommend everyone who's got the time to cook the majority of their meals if they can. Cook things from scratch. Learn what's in what. And then when you consume these foods, listen to your body. How do you feel after those foods? How's your GI issues or not lack of issues after that? For me, dairy is horrendous for me. I'll consume dairy and feel like absolute shit, that day and the following day. And so I know deep down that that's not good for me. And some people, they can't consume rice the way that I can. I can eat copious amounts of rice and feel great. And other people do, and they feel terrible. So it's important it's not boilerplate. It's important to listen to your body, really get in tune with how you feel after you eat certain foods. I have friends that do very, very well on ketogenic diets, high fat, high protein, virtually no carbohydrates, besides maybe fruits and veggies. I have some keto friends that don't even consume those, and they feel great. So I'm not here to take any of that away. For me, it's more of the opposite end of the spectrum. I do well with copious amounts of carbohydrates, moderate to low fat, and moderate protein. And again, these calories are coming from whole food sources. Some of my favorite carb sources are fruit would be my number one pick for micronutrients, especially. I'll eat copious amounts of fruit. I'm not talking like a couple slices of pineapple. I'll grab that whole pineapple and slice that shit up and eat the whole thing. That's one serving of fruit for me. And those little packs of strawberries, that whole pack is a serving for me. And that's how I consume fruit, copious amounts of fruit. And my body loves that. I feel great on that. There's some people, because of the sugars in fruit, that can't do that. So you would have to figure out what works for you. It's not boilerplate. And so if you use common sense and you understand that whole nutritious foods are your friend, you're going to do all right. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of protein chips and protein cookies. And, I think those things have their place if you're trying to wean off real cookies that you're eating, I guess. But, they're super expensive and you're still eating a processed food. If you need to get some more protein in your diet, and you're plant-based, let's say, legumes, beans, those kind of things, lentils, those are your friend. If you're trying to get more protein and you can eat meat, lean meats are your friend. For me personally, I choose fish. I'm Greek, so the Mediterranean diet, as you guys know, lots and lots of fish, lots and lots of rice, carbs is big, bread is big, so those foods work very well for me. Not just because of my genetics, but also just trial and error. I do very well on those type of foods. If other people saw the amount of fish I eat in a day, they'd probably gasp or get nauseated because they're not genetically dispositioned to handle that kind of stuff. And so maybe chicken is a better source for them, or turkey, or even lean red meats. These are things that I recommend. It's easy to crush your workout for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours if maybe you're an endurance athlete or something. But what are you doing the rest of the day? What's your lifestyle like the rest of the day? That's the hard part. It's easy to get in there and work out. How are you replenishing yourself afterwards? That's the hard part. We live in a culture that's very processed food oriented. So you kind of have to go back to the basics. And, that's why I recommend cooking for everybody. Just learning what's in your food. And, have fun with this. Try some food, see how you feel after. If you need to write it down, then so be it. But if you just pay attention, if you get into your mind, into your body, that mind-body connection we always talk about here on this channel, you will notice how you feel when you consume certain foods. So, again, high carbs for me is my friend. I do well on that. And some people, it's the opposite. It's very low carb, and they do great. So, like I said, it's not boilerplate. It's not the same for everybody. But as a rule of thumb, whole foods, nutrient-dense foods, those are going to be your friend. Stay away from things that are in packages. I know that sounds kind of overwhelming when you're starting off, when everything is in like a box. But if you learn to cook, and if you learn to prepare your food yourself, it gets less overwhelming with time. And you feel better. You feel so much better. It's not just to get shredded up and get abs or whatever. It's also just to have a higher quality of life. You will be healthier overall if you eat healthier foods. At the gym I go to, there's guys there. I've been going there for a while. There's guys there that they destroy themselves at the gym. But they never look any different year after year. They look exactly the same. Still got that pot belly. They'll come to me asking why I'm not losing weight. And the first thing I always ask them is, what's your diet like? What's your nutrition like? And most of the time, it's not where it needs to be. And, there's not really a big education on what it needs to be. And some of what it needs to be is trial and error. You have to figure that out for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you high carbs are the way to go, like it is for me. Certain people it is. I don't think we have this fear of carbohydrates now, and I don't think that's rational, But for certain people, they do need to watch how many carbs they consume. That's it for today, guys.